This is Alan N. Smithy, President and CEO of Outer Space International and the OSI 74 network, with a small, brief disclaimer before we get too far into the restart of the Sleepless Knights podcast. Due to a multiversal incursion, the universe a foot to the left is no longer canon. Sorry to the fans of that season. You're just going to have to forget any of what happened unless we need to tap it for references in our restart. Then we'll vaguely reference it, but never acknowledge its existence. It's fine to pick the bones, but just ignore where those bones are from. We also apologize to the backers, sponsors, subscribers, workers, those who donated time, etc. We know you helped produce that season, but as a corporation, we need a tax dodge. So thank you for your financial sacrifice or sacrifice of time. But don't worry, the corporation won't take the hit of the invested time and money you put in. The corporation comes first. Never fear, though. In a few years, people will become nostalgic of the universe to the left. Even though we'll do everything to disavow it, we'll continue to market it, sell merchandising rights, play reruns of it in nonstop rotation, etc. Even though, in conflict, there will be ongoing public efforts to tear it down, ignore it, shit on it every chance we get, and pick its bones in current media. We'll eventually come back around to it when the nostalgia of it becomes even more profitable than before and make it count. When we say make it count, we mean make it all count. The episodes themselves, segment 5s, deleted scenes, lost episodes, script drafts that were never produced, dream castings of actors that never came to fruition, random notes written on scraps of paper, passing random thoughts during the time of production, current passing random thoughts, but we'll just say they were from that other time, intellectual properties that have an R-rated fan base and make our media PG-rated to exclude them, directors that were fired over dubious reasons, our grocery shopping lists, actively sue anyone making fan edits of the Universe to the Left season, announcements that we made publicly at press events and major conventions, but since reversed course and we took it all back, then eventually buried it across 10 and or 15-year time span. Rehiring directors because we made a mistake and they never did that dubious thing. Making a low print run of a director's cut episode's ending canon or count. Then taking that back and making the public cut of the same episode's ending canon instead. Then making both endings count even though they conflict with each other. Actively canceling those directors that originally got fired for dubious reasons because we just didn't want to pay them and nothing more. Making 12 different cuts of a fan-favorite episode to generate fan theories on which one is real, but create confusion and conspiracies as to what's officially canon. Then making all that canon. Then making none of that canon. Actively steal from fan edits that we successfully sued in court. Getting upset that our canceled directors now work for the competition and are given even more responsibility than we would have ever given them. Intellectual properties that have a PG-rated fan base and then make our media R-rated to exclude them. Constantly change tiny aspects of an episode. Small at the time they happened, but over the long term, it changes what the original plot was. Actively lobby and invest in politics that go against our fan base as well as our own sensibilities just so we can get more tax cuts and bailouts. Note to voiceover talent, leave that last one out, should be public knowledge. Crap. We're running really short on time. I'm just going to consider the rest of this as etc. Because eventually, it all counts in a multiversal point of view, even the worst aspects, unless at some point we say it doesn't. It all depends on what our accountants say. Thank you for understanding. And now, on to the restart, having nothing to do with the universe to the left. And we mean it. For now.
Attention, Sleepless Knights. Thank you for consuming this OSI 74 product broadcast, live from the Black Knight satellite. For optimum performance and safety, your host, Mr. Lobo, asks that you please listen to these instructions carefully. When in a hospital or other healthcare facility, observe the restrictions on the use of electronic devices. Switch off before boarding an aircraft to prevent interference with communications systems. Do not operate this device in the presence of flammable gases or fumes, chemical plants, or where blasting operations are in progress. Always listen hands-free while driving a vehicle. Failure to observe these instructions may lead to immediate termination. It's time now for the show to begin. Thank you. Have a very pleasant evening.
You're not dreaming. You're listening to the Sleepless Nights podcast. And to my front-ish...
What's going on back there? There's a lot of noise. There's a lot of noise. Can we try this? Hold on a second. Wait.
Well, we have a guest in the studio, Paul.
But
so
they're being really noisy and disruptive.
Well, I mean, the thing is that this was the only time that Tate could be here to help clean the studio. And so, I figured, we absolutely need to get the studio clean, and we absolutely need to do the podcast. I don't think he's that loud, is he?
I mean, it's like elephants running around over there.
No, I think you're being, the thing is Tate is doing a good job. He's picking up papers. He's sweeping. He's doing. Tate, how's it going over there?
Battery.
Tate just found a battery. Was that a 9-volt battery?
D.
Oh, a D battery.
There's that good generic green and yellow brand.
Put your tongue on it. See if it's still.
I'm not testing it that way.
Doesn't work. That's not how you figure it out if it works. I think we might have a battery tester. I'm not sure. So anyhow, Tate volunteered. Tate, of course, is a filmmaker. He made a movie called Pizza Guy 8. And like most filmmakers, he has to make devil deals with people.
Right. Are you giving him the trauma treatment? I know, like, in order to work at trauma, you got to clean the toilets.
The thing is that, they used the studio here to, and a lot of our props, honestly, I feel like we really significantly boosted the production value of that movie by letting them film in the studio here and use a bunch of props. And he's making another movie called Nun Fu, where he wants to come in here and film some sequences with our green screen. So in exchange for that, I said, well, if you want to use the studio,
you have to clean it.
You have to come in here and clean it. Right, exactly.
Well, I mean, what's now you do your stream, you do that co-working stream. Right.
It's the co-working stream.
Co-working stream, yeah. I mean, I watched it the other night, and it helped me get my studio all ship shape so that I could do the takeover from my studio.
Oh, you got a lot of work done during.
So I got my studio is spick and span. Now, what happened here? It's only been a week.
Well, look, during my co-working stream. What was that, Tate?
I literally found an empty box of Shout wiping out.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
it got my.
Maybe they're floating, or some ones floating around, or maybe we used them all.
You also got one of these
fortune-telling fish. But anyhow, so on the co-working stream, usually during the co-working stream, a lot of people who, of course, we're all shadowing each other, getting work done. But I usually do my shipping. My packing, building props, I'm making a mess, really, during my co-working stream. I'm making more mess during my co-working stream because I'm doing more work that makes mess. I just haven't got to a point where I could start cleaning during the co-working stream. I do pick up a little, but yeah, I usually end up making more of a mess with the label maker and all the packaging and the wads of shipping tape.
You should almost make it on a Friday. You should make it on a Sunday instead of a Friday. You clean right before you have the big show, and then you make a huge mess.
Yeah, but I need to have it cleaned for the show too. I mean, we can't have we can't live stream from the set and have it just be covered in crap, can we?
Sure. Now, like trauma, do you make him defecate in a bag, or you allow him to use the
Tate? I believe
corporate bathroom.
I think Tate already learned how to defecate in a paper bag working at Trauma. Tate, you worked at Trauma, right?
Yeah, like a year-ish.
Yeah, come over here.
Okay. Wash your hands first, though. You're just plunging the toilets.
So you worked at Trauma for a year-ish.
Yeah.
And did Lloyd teach you how to defecate in a paper bag?
Not that far, but I did clean the toilets.
You-
That's actually true.
Yeah, you
Yes.
clean the toilets at Trauma? Yeah.
I think that's like how they decide if they're gonna keep you.
Yeah, I mean, I've applied to trauma in like even in my old age because I did it once when I was young, and they're like, "Oh, you have to come to New York and clean the toilets." And then I did it once when I'm more established, and they're like, "Yeah, you still need to clean the toilets." And I'm like,
You can only do like the transfer for credit work. So like now I just kind of help at conventions because that's when it kind of works out for me,
Yeah.
especially if it's in Philly. Like I can go to Philly. It's
I
not
mean,
that
we
far.
did Trauma Tour, and I asked them right after Trauma Tour, and they're like, "Yeah, you still need to clean the toilets."
I mean, does Lloyd like just have like a huge like Mexican meal and mess up the bathroom first?
Funny. Once
Yeah.
I saw under Michael's desk, like in this order, hot sauce, Pepto, toilet paper.
Hot sauce Pepto toilet paper under Michael Herr's desk? Wow, that's interesting.
Are you sure that was Michael Herr, not just Lobo's? Because I saw that you already
I
carried
might
some
have that
toilet
under
paper
my
back
desk
into
too. Yeah. Although I think that's nicer than just having a loaded gun in
That's
the
true.
desk like Lloyd does. I remember we did the
A
interview
knife.
with Lloyd. He had a knife too. I think I had to wrestle both a gun and a knife out of his hand during the interview because he was going to kill himself.
It's intense.
That does add a lot of tension to the interview.
no.
How about we bump out to commercial, let him wash his hands, and he can pop into there, and we
All
can talk
right,
about
all right.
Pizza Guy 8.
Yeah, let's do that. All right. Well, we're gonna take a little bit of a break. He's gonna go wash his hands.
Yeah, please don't touch my microphones with those hands.
And I'm gonna see if I can find my hot sauce, and we'll be back with more of the Sleepless Nights podcast.
Like you, I love to shred. But even a hardcore skateboarder like myself slams sometimes. Have you been injured in a skateboard or skateboard-related accident while grinding, thrashing, or catching wicked air, neck, or back injuries? Road rash, hippers, split kneecaps, lost shoes? I can help. I'm on your side. I'm Rad Abrams, skateboard attorney.
Dude, Rad Abrams got me $78 and he got me a beer.
That's right. I'll even get you beer. And remember, there's no fee until we win. Let Rad Abrams hook you up.
Don't delay. Call Rad Abrams and Associates today. Look for our ad in Pleasure Magazine.
Later days, dudes.
This is Mr. Lobo of the Sleepless Nights podcast, and we're back with Tate, who is here. You've washed your hands, Tate?
No.
Tate, what were you doing
I'm
in
just
there?
playing.
You're okay. You're just kidding. All right. Well, at least you washed your hands. It's very important. Cleanliness is next to godliness. That's what they say, right?
Is that the Pixies?
Is it the Pixie? Is that a Pixie song? Is that
Like
what you're
the
asking?
lyrics? Yeah.
Can you do an imitation of the Pixies singing "Cleanliness is next to godliness"?
Cleanliness is godly. No. Smashing Pumpkins.
Oh, Smashing Pumpkins.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Zero.
Now there's a microphone there, so you got to get a little closer to the microphone.
I don't know the rules.
So
You are in production, right?
Yeah, but like
they did ADR for their whole movie, so
I break all the rules.
They
Yeah.
made a silent film.
I mean, you did shoot your film on VHS Compact C, right?
Yeah, and it's not all ADR. It was just like the pizza shop scenes we had to, because there was like 3 fans running, an AC, a pizza shop, and like customers in the
Well, I know that the film wasn't all ADR because you did an ADR with me, and I'm in
yeah.
your movie as a
That's
major
true.
character, and I never had to come back and do ADR.
I think I would say it's like 40% ADR.
You know, honestly, like people like to always give diss things. Oh, that's ADR. It's ADR.
Well,
like
Trauma uses a
movies movies before 1980 are like 90% ADR.
Yeah.
Like most older films are mostly ADR.
Yeah.
They were just really good at it.
No, I like that was a Trauma trick that I used. Well, and also we had Trauma footage too.
Yeah, the motorcycle Crash, right?
Yeah, that's Kabuki Man, I think.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Thanks.
That was great.
That's Dylan's doing.
Yeah, it gave the film a little boost,
Yeah.
a little production boost.
Yeah, she's good at that type of. Well, I like that. Like, also the ADR I think kind of helped the film. I'm probably gonna use it in non-food too, just because that's a huge subgenre that's got.
I would think martial arts movies are almost famously ADR'd.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and the sound effects and all that are fun.
Yeah.
So okay, so we met. Let's talk about your movies real quick. So you worked at Troma. Did you work on any films while you were at Troma?
Just short films at the time. I remember I had like a lot of scripts. I wrote a lot. And I kept trying to make a film come together. I think I just had to learn to scale it back. And then Psychic Vampire was the first time I actually was like feature.
So I had worked with Dylan a few times. In fact, Paul and I met Dylan. We did a crossover episode with, was it Creative Continuity and Cinema Insomnia? We did a crossover episode where
Sounds about right. I don't remember either. I don't know what that was for. Was that network? It was never television?
But we met
PBS?
Yes, we met Dylan. She gave us the tour of Troma Studios, and that was a whole episode. And then Dylan made Reagitator.
Yeah.
And I feel like something else.
She's made 8 movies.
Yeah, no, but there was a couple things where she had
Werewolf Bitches?
where she had pulled me in to do stuff.
Oh.
She had pulled me in
Riser.
to Spirit Riser and Spirit Riser and definitely Spirit Riser and Reagitator.
Oh, and
then-
streaming. Plug that.
Yes, that's right. Amazon right now streaming, and I think Voodoo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Great film, fun.
Listen to the rest of this episode first.
So this is don't stop right now. So anyhow, Dylan was the daily editor at Troma, right?
Lloyd's assistant.
Lloyd's
And
assistant.
probably one of the editors.
That's one of the arguments that we had. Now maybe you can solve this for us. For years we thought that she said dairy editor.
Yeah, but dairy editor isn't a thing, I don't think.
Is dairy editor a thing, or did we just misunderstand what she said?
I
She said
feel like
dairy
you
editor.
misunderstood.
I think even to this day, that's been how many years,
Yeah.
and we still say, what the hell is a dairy editor?
But daily, I'm assuming it was daily editor. They edited the
Like the
dailies.
dailies, yeah.
Yeah. So and Lloyd's assistant. So Dylan and I had somewhat of association, and Dylan needs to come in here and clean, because I've done a lot of favors for Dylan that were supposed to be paid back. But anyhow, Dylan said, "I think you really want to be in Tate's movie."
Oh, that's nice.
She said, Tate's really talented and he's up and coming, and I think you really
Well, that's nice to hear.
want to be in this movie.
Yeah.
And so on Dylan's recommendation, I just came to your house in the middle of a pandemic, and I ended up being the game creator.
Yeah.
In the Psychic Vampire. And if those of you who don't know, there's a whole cult around this game, and these people living in this house are just abusing each other.
Yeah.
And it's sort of based on a real thing.
Yeah.
With the real game, but this was a made up game.
Yeah.
With made up people.
Yeah, and I mean I'm in talks of doing an actual real video game for the movie.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I saw a little bit of, what was that though? I saw
The demo?
Yeah, the demo was great.
Yeah, we have a demo. But
And maybe the game creator could be part of the game somehow.
I got.
Yeah?
I just don't know how much the dude wants me to share
All
about
right.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
We won't spoil it yet.
Yeah.
So anyhow, Psychic Vampire was made during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And I have to say, Tate, you were very professional.
Thank you.
I thought you and Dylan worked together great as a team. And I felt very safe. I felt that you guys knew exactly what you were after, and we got through that pretty good.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah.
We were shooting about 10 pages a day.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Probably even more because we had to get 90 pages in 7 days.
Wow, 90 pages in 7 days.
What the hell's a page? We don't do pages.
They got them at NBC. Like Ken from 30 Rock.
Yeah, so Tate writes the scripts, Paul, and then it breaks them out, and you draw a line down the side of your script to make sure you got everything, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so what happened, like, was this a film that you decided to make because it was the pandemic, and you thought, okay, this is really contained, it's all in this house?
Yep.
Yeah.
That was exactly it. And that was advice I got in film school. Was just like one location. And I was like, that's actually super reasonable. Because when I think of a lot of like directors with their first movie, it's always one location. Or very few, at least. Because Psychic Vampire wasn't technically one. Like,
No, you do some second unit stuff with some extra places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was pretty easy to do. And I mean, there was pickups. But that was also like a thing of like, then Lloyd came on, and then Lisa Terror, and then, so I was writing scenes for these new characters.
So you got some great talent in the film, right? You got for your first film.
Yeah.
And then and it was made on an amazingly short schedule.
And a very small budget, too, because I only used the budget for hard drive, travel for Dylan and Bear, a little bit of your travel, too, and then just feeding everyone. So
modestly budgeted, and to your credit, it's a very well made film.
Thank you. Yeah.
And we screened it at Zootropolis,
which Pizza Guy's showing there.
Oh, in March, right?
Yeah.
And so which I was at the premiere for that too, and I think I interviewed you, didn't I? No, we talked.
We probably talked like a long time, but I don't think we ever did. Like,
I guess we didn't do an actual interview.
If you did an interview, what would that sound like?
I guess it would sound like this. I guess it would sound exactly like this.
Yeah.
So you made to completion Psychic Vampire, which ended up on Troma now.
Yeah. And there's more planned for it, but
and you have a VHS release for it.
Yeah, with VHS Haven, and VHS Haven also executive produced Pizza Guys, so shout out to them. And then VHS Haven's also doing
Nunfu?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know yet?
No, but Pizza Guy 8 is also on VHS Haven's website.
Oh, yeah.
For
Yeah,
purchase.
VHS, yes. There's a nice DVD and a VHS.
Yeah. I only have the DVDs right now. It's
Oh,
just
okay.
me.
It's only just you.
Yeah,
I guess I have a nice DVD because you brought one over here.
Yeah, I make them on Kunaki.
Okay, all right.
So I just sell them at screenings.
So, okay. So then after Psychic Vampire, what inspired you to create Pizza Guy 8? Why was Pizza Guy 8 your second film?
What's funny? I feel like it was also kind of a similar thing to Psychic Vampire, which is like I wanted to subvert expectations for horror fans of like what a horror movie should like have, or because I like very different things about a horror movie than like other people. I like Lynch and stuff like that, and then I really like comedy, and so I just thought it would also kind of sell well to Troma fans, and knowing that is like kind of like the audience I'm working with too, and a genre I'm very well familiar with, and also one that like you can use really well on the low budget or no budget type of movie. But I also know like the idea of like a slasher sells really well. So I was like, I think like with slashers they just kind of take like the main guy and they just change the weapon and the look, and it has something to do with the ghost of that character.
Yeah.
That type of thing.
It's great because it's very subversive, because I think it has some elements that are appealing to horror fans, but then there's all this kind of surrealism, and it's kind of very satirical. and self-aware and super meta.
Yeah.
It gets inside, it crawls up its own ass to such a degree that I've never seen a movie do. And I think that it does have some, I would say, John Waters influence. Same with Psychic Vampire, so it's John Waters kind of feel to it.
John Waters.
The subversive aspect of it, and a lot of characters, a lot of fun characters. You create a lot of kind of like, I don't want to say wacky characters, because that's such a trite thing to say.
I know what you mean.
But you have like these sort of very kind of iconic, fun characters.
Thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate that.
And so, and I was happy to be one of them.
No, and I think you have one of the most fun characters to be honest.
Yeah,
in terms of look, at least, it's very eye-catching.
I'm sort of like I guess a revived Walt Disney character. I have my head gets attached and retached and detached a couple of times in the movie, and it's pretty great. Mr. Lobo's going to have to detach his head here for a few minutes, but we'll be back with Tate and more of the Sleepless Nights podcast.
Thanks for having me on. Hi.
Eat and die.
You're an hour late.
Well, I'm hung, but I don't hear anyone talking about that.
I smoked a little goofy, wacky marijuana.
Oh, Mary Jane Smith.
Mary Jane Smith.
Right.
Cigarette, and then all I wanted to do was kill people. I had the marijuana madness, and the only thing that could satiate it was blood.
Well, that pizza cutter you got there, that's made from a magical rune from a Mayan temple. And every living thing you kill it with, well, it comes back to life. Let me demonstrate.
Listen, I didn't expect my life to turn into The Truman Show meets Friday the 13th.
Oh my God! That's how we should pitch the movie.
Looks like he won't be getting ahead.
Coming soon, a titanic slice of total terror. Pizza Guy 8. It's not for babies.
Pepperoni is burnt and the cheese is bubbly, and we are here with the pizza guy himself, pizza guy Tate.
Now, Mr. Lobo, before, where do you want this? Where do you want this really extremely fragile stuff? Because since you've been interviewing him, I've been doing the cleaning. Where do you want this?
I don't want you touching any of the. No, Paul, you are not to touch anything fragile or breakable in this place. Right. And put some pants on, for God's sake. So Tate, we were talking about your movie Pizza Guy 8. Now you act in both of your movies too. You're not just the director.
Yeah.
So is this a conscious effort? Do you look for a project that's a vehicle for yourself?
No, I do think Pizza Guy was a bit of that though, because I do want to be. I just started acting the year that I started making Pizza Guy. Like I was an extra on Maisel. On that Very Scary People on HLN, in a non-speaking lead role, and a couple other extra things here and there. So I was like, I want to get casted more for like these types of movies that I'm doing. Angel, that was more of a role in Psychic Vampire. Was more.
Paul is eating these weird like Japanese Bonono candies and keeps dropping them on the floor.
I'm trying to be as quiet as possible when I sound like worse than him trying to clean over in the other area.
All right, sorry, Tate. As you were,
You're
Tate.
saying?
No. But that one, it was like I like don't really have a lot of people. Like that was before the world opened up. So I was like, I'll just write one character that I can play, especially with the subject matter too, and like Just making sure that it's like a cool set and all that.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, I could see that.
So it's. I'd say the first, and then the third one, I might play a role in Nunfu. I'm like kind of going back and forth.
Oh, you're on the fence, so you might not have a role in this one. You're thinking,
yeah, just to focus on directing.
Yeah,
like I would really love to just. I have some other scripts I'm working on and thinking of starting to direct those.
So I'm assuming it was really helpful for you to have Dylan involved, sort of as your DP on Pizza Guy, just so.
Yeah, she was also AD too.
Okay.
I think that really helped with, for example, like there's certain scenes that are super physical.
Yeah.
I can't always see what it looks like in the camera.
Right. You can't be on both sides of the camera.
Well, but it's nice with that was kind of one of the perks of VHS is like it's got that easy flip around,
Oh,
so
okay.
I can typically. There's a few scenes where we were walking and talking.
You could see your own. You're seeing your own shot.
Yeah, and like literally, like Dylan would be holding a tripod with the VHS on it, and like it would be, it'd be like a low angle shot.
Yeah.
So it would make it super dynamic, but you would, super easy and practical too.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's. And how many cameras did you go through with that?
Just one.
Just one camera.
Yeah,
So that whole thing was shot on one VHS camera. Wow.
That's the one I grew up with too.
Oh, okay.
So
Oh, that's awesome.
I was very familiar with it. That's why I was
Yeah.
like, because I wanted to
Yeah.
feel like very homemade.
And then when it was completed, you had to make a DCP of it for the for the screening, right?
Which
is
kind of
probably more expensive than the.
Actually,
movie.
not.
No.
I got a subscription to ShareFile to share the DCP. That was the most expensive part.
Oh.
DCP-O-Matic, you can just make a DCP like that. It's free.
Oh, okay. It used to be very expensive to get a DCP made.
No. DCP-O-Matic and I remember I've talked to a few theaters about showing it, and they were like, you gotta pay someone $1,000. I'm like, no, I don't. Like, my friend Dylan just showed me how to do it for like free, and so that's it.
Well, that's great. That's a good advice for young filmmakers.
Just
then.
have
I think
like a
lot
hard
of
drive.
people end up having to do that, and a hard drive.
Yeah, like make sure if you're transferring it, don't use a file sharing website. Those take forever.
Yeah.
Just drop it off in person if you can.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the reception? I mean, I was there, but I mean, were you pleased with the reception of Pizza Guy?
I thought everybody laughed when I wanted them to, and was grossed out when I wanted them to.
Boy, I was really grossed out. At seeing that in 50 feet high, some of those scenes is just like, oh God! I was like, please tap me out. This is so gross.
Yeah, I really milked that zit scene.
Oh God! Some of the murder scenes are funny too because they just linger.
Yeah, which I kind of did on purpose because that's what I liked about Giallo movies is they.
Yeah.
It kind of became more of a style thing at a point. Like it didn't even feel realistic anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it. Like
That's
especially
it, that's
we had
how
shots that were so pretty.
But it definitely, I think it makes your point there is sort of like how they sort of like romanticize and linger on some of them.
Yeah. Well, I remember because a big inspiration was I think it was the Driller Killer.
Yeah.
Which there was like one famous death scene which I was watching it and I was like, this is so long, and it was the cut version. The original version was like 5 minutes.
Oh God.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, at least with me, it's like extreme gore gets to that point of like broad comedy.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, it's so outrageous. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe this is still happening. I'm still here with this thing that's happening at my face.
Well, and like that might change with a cut. Well, because there was that joke I have that repeats. I kind of want to, for myself. I like messing up on purpose.
Yeah.
I don't like messing up on accident.
Yeah.
But that one's where I'm like, but it also wasn't received bad. I kind of don't want to like mess with a good thing. So.
Yeah, it's hard to know, especially at that point in the movie, whether it's on purpose or not that you repeat that line, repeat that joke. Yeah.
But
I wondered that myself.
Yeah.
It's funny, there was a movie recently, am I going to call this person out? Why not? Sean King made a movie called Screamwakers.
Oh, I know him. Yeah.
Wait, Screamwalkers.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Screamwalkers, and we have an association for a long time. He had a show called The Gooligans, where it was sort of not quite a horror host show, but horror comedy show.
Yeah.
And they're all monsters in monster makeup. Anyhow, so directs this movie, and he's like, "Would you like to show this on Cinema Insomnia?" I'm like, "Absolutely." Yeah. And then he gives me the movie, and it's like your film, where it's shot on video, and it's self-aware, and it's kind of like aware of the shot on video genre. And then there was this one point where they're in a car, and I'm like, I think it's really funny the way you can really hear this person's dialogue, and then this other person's really quiet, because that's something that would happen in those movies a lot. And he's like, oh shit, no, that was a mistake. But when I was watching it, I was giving him, because of everything else he was doing was so brilliant, I was giving him all this credit that, this thing here that's happening with this bad audio is on purpose.
Well, and I felt like that's what the genre would allow. I felt like with Psychic Vampire, I couldn't really make my mind up if that's what I was doing or not. And I felt like with Pizza Guy, I was just like, let's just go full mistakes on purpose.
Yeah.
Type of stuff. Like there's even times in the writing where I'd make a grammar error and I'd be like, no, keep that. Like that'd be funnier than if, like the one where Dylan's like, I don't want to get farted on.
Farted on. Yeah, I remember that. Farted on. Now this is another thing is like you've got these characters that seem like first draft made up names, right? You've got Gorkalik, and Poop. And were these gonna be the only names for these characters, or just those the first two things that came out of your mouth? How do you come up with names like that for a character?
Actually, Gorkalik is a character that my grandfather came up with.
Gorkalik
is like a little man that he'd be like, oh, Gorkalik's over there. Like he's like, it was kind of scary, but like he also had like this story about like a woman named Bertha Schmidlap, and he'd be like, I missed her, but she'd like have like frog eyes.
Wow, Tate.
He's got like a really weird sense of humor.
Yeah,
but Gorkalik comes from that.
Interesting.
Poop was me, as you can tell, because I just think that's funny.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, it definitely had a whimsical, almost childlike, nonsensical. I'm writing a story, and these are my characters' names.
Yep. I don't think too hard about it. I do automatic writing. That's why I've written so much. Is like I just
prolific. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what Stephen King does. He just starts at a point and
does a lot of drugs.
Yes.
Yep.
That's the secret.
That's the secret.
So you don't have any inhibitions. Nothing telling you that it sucks.
I mean, I'll rewrite after, and I've been rewriting more. It's not like that it sucks. It's just like this. If I want to communicate my point better, I have to do this.
I'm joking, of course.
I know.
But,
I know. I can't help but take you literally.
Yeah.
But like, I think that's like kind of the main thing that I'm looking for is like, I don't think this is really. I'm really like, especially with like writing Num Fu. I'm like, I want to be clear on like kind of what I'm saying about like the things that I have opinions on versus like keep it vague in some areas, and then there's some stuff that's like that's not what the movie's about.
Yeah,
so it doesn't really need to be spoken on.
Do you feel like you got your messages across with Pizza Guy? The things that you wanted to express, the things you thought were important.
I got one question at my screening that like I feel like it didn't.
Yeah.
Because someone asked me, do you ever have trouble discerning what's real? I'm like, the whole point of the movie is to discern what's real. Like the whole point is like none of this is happening. And like that's like what I think, like, as adults we still even like have these attachments to movies where we're like, oh, this person plays this type of role, so they must like Dexter, or like, oh, he must be that type of guy because he played that type of scary role, or just like weird questions. And I think it's important for like people to be like, look, this is fiction and this is fact, and it's happening in politics.
Yes.
So
it's
it's
scary
really
because we
important
live
now.
in a world in which people don't trust any information.
Exactly.
And so we're in this weird place where facts are not respected, and fiction is given more gravity than it deserves.
Yeah.
And so we're in this, very strange, kind of dangerous area where it's like, we make movies. It's playtime. There's nothing here other than to entertain you. There's nothing here that needs to be taken literally.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it's just I see it as like counter propaganda. Like, there's tons of stuff being funded by Fox right now to like further like Trump's agenda. And then, like, we got these little guys who are like, okay, support small business. Those type of messages are much better than, like, the stuff you're just seeing over and over.
I think it's scary because we've got, 6 corporations controlling most of the media, most of the popular imagination. And I think it's really important that we have people like you, like Dylan, like ourselves, I guess, making stuff independently. And people are going to have to discern and decide that they want to hear some small voices, that they want to hear other opinions, that they want to kind of not be just spoon-fed the same stuff from everywhere. And because I think that the biggest hustle that those corporations have created is that anyone besides them distributing something is not legitimate. You know? And so anyhow, I'm very excited, and one of the reasons I helped you with your film is because it is exciting to see younger people who haven't given up in the face of so much corporately controlled media and are making their own stuff and telling their own stories.
Thanks, Lobo. Yeah. It's just about doing it because you like it.
Yeah. Okay. Last minute, you have any advice for young filmmaker?
Just do it. Nike.
Just do it. Nike.
No, but seriously, just do it. Like right away.
I love that there's a whole diatribe about corporations, and then we have the Nike slogan to end it.
Irony.
Yes. Very good. Very good. God, that Garfield. The newspaper has a new section full of games here. In here,
they make the newspaper anymore?
It's
all online.
No, they still have.
Did you print that out?
No, I didn't. No, a kid on a bicycle threw it at the studio, and it's here. We've got it in black and white. Look, it's smearing off on my hands.
Smells funky.
Well, they have to use those new inks now, made out of vegetable oil. Okay, anyway, and fish. Vegetable oil and fish, I think, is what they make the ink out of. Anyway, so I have this right here. It's a Sleepless Nights podcast with Mr. Lobo. Uber fans of the podcast Crossword.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't this cool?
Does this mean we made it?
We've made it.
We've made it next to Garfield and Andy Cap and Marmaduke.
Exactly.
And Family Circle.
Family Circle. For certainly Circus, I think. Okay, here we go. I got my pencil here ready. Okay. This is number 1 across, Paul. Okay. 13 letters.
Mm-hmm.
Fan with a good roof over his head. And then the clue is Bestow TV YouTube member.
It's on the tip of my tongue. Dr. House? Is it Dr. House?
No. I think it's Michael Housel.
Oh, so close.
Yeah, Michael Housel. Yep, that fits. All right, number 2. I need a blank. I need a blank? 7 letters?
Why do you need a blank?
I don't know what I need. 7 letters, though. Anita?
Well, it links up with the H from Michael Housel.
Oh, yeah, it goes right through it. Yes, okay, right with the H there. So Rivnik.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Anita Rivnik, of course. And then here's number 3 here.
Okay.
This is 4 letters.
Mm-hmm.
Bathroom McCallum. Shit. You can't say that. I think it's Sean. John McCallum.
That
Wow.
makes sense.
Here we
Yeah,
go.
they wouldn't put next to Family Circle.
Not next to Family Circle, no. All right, now look at this. And right underneath is, look at the current super fans have their own word search.
Okay. Oh, look, right there's one. It's sticking right out.
Oh, yeah, right there. And
No,
then
no,
this
right next to that one.
No. This is, oh, there. Oh,
Yeah,
I see that. I
See, it
see
goes
that.
up and down.
Yep, I see that. And this one goes straight across right here.
And that one's a zigzag.
You can't have a zigzag.
Sure, you can have a zigzag.
No,
See,
they're
look.
not going to have the name as zigzag.
But it makes a zigzag.
Oh, yeah. Oh, crap. All right. So it does. All right. Very cool. All right. Well, if you want to upgrade your newspaper subscription or, of course, join us for next month's recording, go to patreon.com/Sleepless Nights podcast. You can wrap newspaper around your gift, too.
Right.
If you want to do a gift membership, give a friend or a loved one, put their name in the show. Just go to patreon.com/Sleepless Nights podcast /gift.
Who knew?
Who knew?
Who knew?
We'll see all you members later in segment 5. Now, let's get back to the show. The want ads.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Wakeless Days pODDcast. Mr. Lobo stepped out and he's in the can. I think he's working up a really good thing for you to clean up. I'm here with our guest. Now, I didn't catch your name. What's your name again?
Tate.
So, Jeff, I hear that you're a filmmaker. So what do you think of the film Groundhog's Day?
All right, get out of here.
Wait. Before you kick me out, hold on. One question. All right, Lobo? One question. The choice to wear the maid outfit, was that your choice or did Mr. Lobo?
It's my choice.
Oh, son of a...
Get out of here. Come on,
no,
Paul.
son-
Get out of here. Out. Paul. I don't understand. This is why you don't conduct the interviews, Paul. It's for this exact reason. And this is why you're not allowed to clean in here either. Because you won't wear the maid outfit.
Or any pants.
Yes. So, Paul, I guess, I kind of felt like that last segment should have just been the end of the interview.
Well, it can be. How did you get out of my seat? Here,
All right.
he left something really good.
But thank you very much. There are a few bags of trash that need to go out, so appreciate that. Thank you.
What did you have to eat to make it that color?
I think it's those candies that you're eating right now. That's, I think, exactly it. The Japanese Bonono candies.
Bononos?
Yeah, Bononos. Yeah.
I think he's just leaving. I think he's done. He's gone. He's out of here.
Well, I don't blame him.
Do we make him stay too long?
No.
Past his bedtime?
Could be. He's a growing boy. That was Tate Hoffmaster. I don't know if did we say his full name?
I don't know if we said his full name or not.
Tate Hoffmaster, the director of Psychic Vampire and Pizza Guy 8. I can't believe, I'm a producer, I'm a director, I'm a writer. I have not made a feature film. You're a producer, you're a director, you're a writer. You've also not made a feature film.
No.
And we're old men.
Yes.
And this young guy has made 2 feature films. And he's working on his 3rd.
Do you think he takes resumes?
I don't know, but I feel like we could learn a thing or two.
I mean, I'm not defecating in a paper bag. I already told.
You told Lloyd that you wouldn't do that.
No, I mean, the cutoff was at Lloyd. I mean, it's Lloyd. You have to defecate in a bag. But for Tate, no, I'm not going to defecate in a bag.
Okay.
If I got to work on one of his films.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just do it right in the street. No bag necessary.
No bag necessary. Bagless Films Incorporated presents The Turd Man.
Now, you did the premiere for this, or?
Yeah, we were at the Museum of the Modern Image, or the Museum of the Moving Image in Queens, New York.
Okay.
And we were at the premiere. I was at the premiere for both. Pizza Guy was as a Museum of the Moving Image, and they interviewed Tate afterwards. And it was great to see it with an audience. It was packed room, packed house. People laughed, and they stayed for all of it. So it was great. I was expecting a few people to walk out, honestly.
Me too.
So
when did you walk out? Like the star of the show. No, I guess a co-star of the show.
5 minutes in.
The director himself left.
Yes.
I know exactly what part versus Lobo
Yeah, the part where he's popping the zits, I really wanted to take a walk during. But I stayed true. I made a lot of noise, but I stayed true and watched it. Yeah, you heard me, right?
You were like, oh!
No! This is still happening. Oh my God.
Did you rewind this? What is still going on?
And it actually looked great. That was the thing that others surprised me too. Is like, this is from a VHS, and I'm watching this in a theater. This is pretty amazing. But yeah, so I've been to both premieres. Premiere of Psychic Vampire at Zootropolis in Lancaster, and the premiere of Pizza Guy 8 in New York. I think, where's the next one going to premiere? Cannes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or Sundance, something. At this rate, it was great. And it was fun to make the movie with Tate, too. Like, I think that what I really loved is that Dylan and Tate are such goofballs. And they're just constant. It just reminds me of when I was like a teenager, honestly, where I was just constantly just churning silly ideas, trying to make my friends laugh. And so we had a lot of fun in here and workshopped a lot of fun ideas in here.
So where did the cleaning idea of now that I've worked on your film, now you have to come clean my studio?
Well, it's funny because there have been a few concessions with Tate, because one of them was I got blood all over my shirt.
What is it, Lobo shirts or a
white and one of my nice white suit shirts, a Lobo shirt. I got blood on the neck portion of, because I got my head detached 3 or 4 times, and they said that it would come out, and it did not. And so I said part of my payment is I want a new shirt, and so Tate purchased a very nice Jose Bank shirt, and I left it in the wrap. Like, I didn't wear it until the premiere. So I actually wore the shirt that he bought.
He bought you a nice shirt. Meanwhile, your shirt was like, what, the Walmart special?
Yeah. He bought me a nice shirt. Don't tell my secrets.
J.C. Penney.
Honestly, dress shirts are the hardest, because it's like everything else, like a lot of my suits. I have a couple of suits that are tailored, but a lot of my suits come from the thrift stores and stuff like that. But shirts are harder too, because shirts can get, the collar gets all out of whack. And
I just found your Spirit Riser ticket, by the way.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh wow, amazing.
Maybe it should be signed, framed.
Yeah. So, and I was also at Museum of Moving Image for Spirit Riser. Wow, $15. This is at the Summer M. Redstone Theater. Is that what it's really called? Is that the name of the room?
Yeah, the big one's the Redstone.
Museum of the Moving Image, Saturday, March 30th, 2024. Wow, was that long ago?
It really was.
Wow. I think it's...
And that's been on that table since 2024.
Yeah, it's been sitting there for a year, right?
That's why you wear the maid outfit. You earn that maid outfit.
Yeah, I love.
Make sure you hang it up before you leave.
The curator asked me, hey, I think it's great that you're in Dylan's movie and in Tate's movie, and I'm like, it was my pleasure. It's like, I'm excited that there are, and I feel like their dad, but I'm excited that they're excited to make movies. I like that young people want to make movies still, especially movies that are shown theatrically, because theaters are dying, and movies are in a really weird space, and it's so hard to get your stuff seen,
especially like nowadays, where like what would Lloyd call it? What do you call it? He wouldn't call it corporate. What do you call it? Corporate? He would just say the big guys. Well, like basically everything from the big guys, the big three,
right,
are all everything for the last 4 years, everything every single week is a blockbuster. A blockbuster used to be one or two things a year.
Yeah.
And it became a thing every week. And not everything has to be a blockbuster.
Not everything. Not everything.
And the indie thing just kind of went away. And it really shouldn't. That's how we get new blood and get new ideas and not just recycle the same barf every other week.
Yeah, it's terrible because you have like these so-called blockbusters that are bloated. The soulless script.
Soulless corporations. That's what he would say. That's what Lloyd would say.
Making it, and then it's like they put it on 9 screens in the same theater.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, why not save a couple of those screens for something else?
Right.
So, and we used to have video stores too, and video stores there was a certain amount of democracy with the video stores. At least there was in the beginning, where it's like you move your hand 4 inches one direction or the other, and you've got poltergeist or poultrygeist, right?
Right.
And I think that when studios started demanding, okay, you need to buy 80 copies of Die Hard for your video store, that's when things really got screwed up.
Right.
And I think that happens with every new medium, is that it gets kind of absorbed, and then the big guys just try to control all of it, and then they end up choking the life out of it and then ruining it for everyone.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of what happened with the indie circuit in the 90s. It was like, the mid-90s, you can do indies, and you had Kevin Smith and Quentin Tarantino and all them kind of coming up through the indie circuit. And then all of a sudden, like Disney, and you go and you look up, because I remember when I was looking into film festivals at that time, and it was like you had to go through Disney and you had to go through Fox and stuff. And that was the whole reason for those film festivals, is to get around those gatekeepers. And all of a sudden they just gobbled all that up, and you have to go through them. You have to go through is it the same, Tate? Do you still have to go through Without a Box? Do you do film festivals?
I do. It's Film Freeway now.
Film Freeway?
Which I think bought Without a Box, and then they just became the same thing.
Yeah, well, Without a Box used to be Internet Movie Database, which is Amazon.
Yeah.
That was my point, is that it's Amazon just controls it all. And
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, I don't like that it's just like owned by like one. I don't know. Like I said, it just it's reality rendering. So like you're kind of like telling people how to live and like showing them the same values over and over, which I think by and large led to like this big cloud of moral injury of like Trumpies existing, when I don't remember like where the I mean they've been here, but also where
yes,
like going through like Internet Movie Database, or going through Without a Box, or I guess Film Freeway now. Well, I can only speak for what Without a Box was, that you went through people who were just volunteers who just decided your fate. There were never anybody that was in the industry or anything else. They don't actually review your thing. You have to make sure everything's written right. We remember the time that we were putting Cinema Insomnia and Bestow TV stuff on, I think on Amazon itself, the streaming service, and that was all volunteers, and they just randomly just pull your stuff down just because.
I think
we don't do music videos anymore, even though
they pulled all my episodes off of Amazon in the United States, not in the UK. They pulled all my Amazon episodes off of Amazon except for 1 or 2. And they didn't really have an explanation as to why, other than I think the duplication of the movies.
Maybe.
But I mean, my presentation of that movie is so different. We have like 25 to 40 minutes of original material mixed in through the movie. It's not the same experience at all.
I mean, I think they pulled down all of our Mr. Lobo Does, and then they pulled down my music videos I used to put up. And it came down to a point of, well, we don't do music videos. We're a movie site. Next week, here comes U2's new music video. Their music film.
Do you remember was it like the U2 thing where it's just like everyone had it downloaded, like you didn't even have a choice, like everyone got the U2 song.
Yeah.
It's like the emergency broadcast network. All right. Well, we
devolved into bitching.
Yes, we did.
We hit a quota.
We did it. This solved a problem for us, though, because we weren't quite sure what this episode was going to be about when we started.
Yes.
And because
we still don't know what it's about.
Well, that's true. But because Tate was here cleaning,
Before we sign off, Tate, is there any place that anybody can buy DVDs, physical copies?
They just got a message me.
They just got a message. Is there any particular
Instagram.
Just Instagram.
And they're to look for it on Trauma Now also.
Psychic Vampire. Pizza
Psychic
Guy is
Vampire?
not.
Okay, all right. Psychic Vampire. So you
look
can
for-
watch Psychic Vampire on Trauma Now. And VHS Haven has Psychic Vampire.
And Pizza Guy.
And Pizza Guy, yeah.
So
you can get physical copies on VHS.
There we go.
We had a little bit of corporate interference at the very beginning, right? So this is very corporate. I feel like
ironically, it wasn't
sort
a
of
match.
ties in,
that
right?
That corporate thing was written months ago,
Yeah.
and then it was like let's put a pin on this till we find a spot for it.
Yeah,
and
I actually feel.
and then it kind of
I
tied
feel
into
like
this
it
episode.
ties in. Yeah, I feel like it ties in. We're all kind of.
There's bullet points in that.
Yeah, but we're kind of trapped. I think that's the biggest problem of all the creators right now is that we have to depend on these corporate vessels, these corporate distribution modes. It's like no matter what kind of thing you're doing, if you put it on YouTube, you have to deal with YouTube. If you're on Twitch, you got to deal with Twitch. And if you only have it in one place, you could get unplugged and your thing could
just disappear.
Yep. All right. Well, we have to disappear now. Thank you for listening to the Sleepless Nights podcast. Support an independent creator today, why don't you?
Sure.
You have been listening to the Sleepless Nights podcast, or should we say, pODDcast.
pODDcast.
Emphasis on the odd. Our theme is by Mars Homeworld at Dead House Music. Our opening announcement is by Ophelia Necro. She does a radio show called Suicide Watch. Patreon supporters get to hear this podcast before anyone else and a lot of other great stuff, right, Paul?
Sure.
Doesn't get it better than that, right? So come join the fun at
patreon.com/Sleepless Nights Podcast.
Please stay up with us next week for another Sleepless Nights podcast. Or should we say, pODDcast.
pODDcast.
The best thing about being an insomniac is never having to say goodnight.
Good night.